Hello guys, how you doing? How you doing? It's your boy Mason and welcome to the channel. And today I've got a very simple question that I want to ask to my fellow Zimbabweans. Okay, I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from Masvingo, and I'm from Bikita. Actually, that's where my people are from. So I want to ask a very simple question, and we want to come to. We want to see if we can get some answers on this question. And the simple question I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. And I'm sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold. That's why my voice is a bit funny today. But hey, we're going to carry on with the show. And the question I want to ask is this. Is religion and is Christianity the main cause of the problems and the pain and the stress and tribulations of everything that we're seeing in Zimbabwe right now? Is a religion, is Christianity the main cause of all, or the main catalyst of all of our trauma, economic trauma, political trauma, social trauma, social disturbances, political disturbances of everything that's happening in Zimbabwe? Is a religion to blame? Is Christianity to blame? Or has Christianity has anything to do with it? So here's the question. I mean, it's a very basic, but it's a very philosophical question. But I want you guys to put on your thinking cap and think really diligently and really deep and find out if you can come out with real answers. Has religion or has Christianity got anything to do with all the problems that we are having in Zimbabwe? Because I mean, we are very educated people, we're very intellectual people. You know what I mean? There's hardly any Zimbabwean who is not capable of using rationale. We're very smart people. I mean, most Zimbabwean people, you can't even engage them in a conversation because you're going to lose, or a debate because you're going to lose, because we are very intellectual, very educated. We've got very really educated individuals. We have reached the highest pinnacle or accolades of education. So my question is this. If we are an educated nation, and if we are people full of all this intellectualism, intellect and all that, where are we going wrong? Why is our country stagnant? Why is our country at a standstill? You name it. Economically, politically, socially, everything is just stagnant. We're not moving forward. Look at our president. He's got absolutely no idea of how to run a country. Look at the government that's governing us. It's a bunch of incompetent people, group of people. Not only are they incompetent, but they're very selfish, and they believe in, and they do corruption and bribery and everything. So as a nation of intellectuals, as a nation of people who are very highly educated, where are we going wrong? And I think, so this is the question, this is the topic I'm going to bring forward to the table, and I want you guys to discuss. I want you guys to think about it carefully, diligently, and go really deep about it. But I'm going to tell you my stance. I'm going to tell you my position. I'm going to tell you my angle and my situation. If you ask me the same question, I'm going to tell you yes, 100%, emphatically, categorically, yes, that's true. A religion has got everything to do. Christianity has got everything to do with all of our problems in Zimbabwe. Because the thing with the religion and the thing with the belief is that it goes beyond your rationale. Religion and belief goes beyond your intellect. So even though you're a very intellectual person, but if you believe in something, most believers tend to put a rational or common sense on the side. They substitute rationalism and common sense for belief. There are some Zimbabweans right now today that have got PhDs, they've got masters, they are very, very very intellectuals, but they still believe that about 3, 4, 5,000 years ago there was an actual bush that was talking, or a donkey that was talking, or there was a man who actually walked on water. There was a talking bush, there was a talking donkey, a talking snake. They actually believe that about 3, 4, and you know what? There's some people that actually believe that our history, human history, goes only to 6,000 years ago, because that's what a religion, that's what Christianity tells you, where the genesis of humankind started from. And this is a religion. And most of our people, like I said, we've got 85% of the population of Zimbabwe is Christians. 85%. That's a big chunk of people in a piece of land. 85%. That's almost 100%. 85% of people in Zimbabwe are Christians, and they believe everything that is written in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation is literally true, including the talking bush, talking snake, talking donkey, man walking on water, man coming back from death or from a grave and resurrect, and people coming out from their graves and start walking on the streets, as it is told in the New Testament that there was some people that came out from their graves and start walking in the streets. People in Zimbabwe actually believe this as secular history. So in my opinion, I think the biggest problem in Zimbabwe right now is actually Christianity. It's a religion. It is a religion that is making us stagnant and devoid of using a logic and reasoning. Like I say to you, belief substitute logic and reasoning for faith and belief. A highly educated person that has got PhD or a master's degree, you can tell them there is no such a thing as a man walking on water. That is against the principles of physics, and there is never a possibility of a donkey talking or a snake walking. But a person that has got PhD, whether in physics, chemistry, whatever it is, they can actually argue against that notion or rationale, and they tell you you're wrong, because it's true, because the Bible is an inerrant word of God. Everything that is there is factual. Everything that was written there, and even though they do not know who wrote it, or where it was written, how it was written, or why it was written, they don't care about that. But what they think is that it is true, and they believe that it's true. So you are putting common sense away from a reality and substitute common sense with superstitions and belief. And this is where we are today, ladies and gentlemen. And to me, I think this is the reason why we are stagnant. We're always looking for, okay, yes, I know some people are going to be telling me, you know what, I think it's because of politics. I mean, look at your ruling party, look at the people who are in government. This is the reason why we're stagnant. Do you know what? I don't think so. Because if we as a collective people, we could have removed those people or ZANU-PF a long time ago. But because we've got this inherent, deep within us, a belief that, you know what, God is going to come and protect us. Jesus Christ one day is going to come to visit us in Harare, in Mashingo, in Bulawayo, in Baitbridge, in Murewa. Is going to come and help us. This is our way of thinking. And we wonder why these people who are in power keep on getting richer, and they are taking the piss out of you. They're taking the biscuit. And we do not understand why our country can't change, because religion is kind of like put a veil over us. Instead of using common sense, we're using belief. We thinking people, like I said, people that have got masters in physics, chemistry, political science, biochemistry, you name it, astrophysics, physics, whatever, you name it, all those complicated mathematicians, you name it, they will tell you, I believe in my God. My God is going to come and protect me. My Jesus is going to come one day. There's going to be a rapture. There's going to be a change of the world. God knows our trauma. God knows our tribulations. God knows our pain. One day, God is going to answer for us. This is the belief of most of the people in Zimbabwe. Like I said, 85% of people in Zimbabwe are Christians. And this is their rationale. This is the way they perceive the world. Now, if you've got a bunch of people will think in superstitions, will believe in this fictional reality that's not real world, how do you expect progress? How do you expect the removal of government? How do you expect them to confront what's wrong? They won't. Do you know why? It's because they believe some other external entity, some kind of a Jesus, a God who's going to come and who is going to fight their rescue on their behalf, because this is the belief that was being impregnated into their psyche. And this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you, I'm 100% sure about this. The reason why Zimbabwe is not progressing at the minute is because we are a bunch of people who believe in a religious belief that was in. Don't get me started on this one. Religion itself, Christian religion, was introduced into Zimbabwe in the 13th century. Actually, no, it wasn't. Actually, it was introduced in the 16th century. 16th century. The Portuguese, who were commissioned by the Roman Catholic Church from Rome, were commissioned to go to Zimbabwe, and they converted lots of people in Zimbabwe. It was introduced to Zimbabwe in the 16th century. But here's something else that you need to know, my fellow Zimbabweans. 500 years before the Portuguese or the Christians landed in Zimbabwe, we happened to build the Great Enclosure or the Great Zimbabwe. Because the Great Zimbabwe or the Zimbabwe ruins, where we get our name from, a house built of stones, an architect, a marvel of architecture. Okay? Something that is almost similar to the pyramids in Egypt at the level of architect, was built in the 11th century, about 500 years before the advent of Christianity in Zimbabwe. So you tell me, before Christianity was introduced to Zimbabwe, we are so mighty to build the Great Zimbabwe. And let me tell you something about the Great Zimbabwe, yeah? In case that you might not know this. The Great Zimbabwe is actually a cosmological and astrological phenomenon, because everything that you see there is aligned to the Orion belt in the sky, into the luminaries. So whoever built those stones understood or knew about cosmology or the Orion belt. Go and do your research, and I'm telling you, you're gonna find out that I'm telling you the truth. I'm not making these things up. So you telling me the people that built the Great Zimbabwe 500 years before the advent of Christianity by the Portuguese, who were commissioned by the Romans, these people had more intellect and they had more knowledge of the universe. And Christianity was introduced to you, to your people, to my people. And that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you look at our pop culture, even if you look at the way we think, most of our songs are God, Jesus related. We were told that our ancestors were demons and pagans, and everything that we used to do, the people that built the great Zimbabwe or the Zimbabwe ruins, when these missionaries or the Roman missionaries came to Zimbabwe in the 16th century. So everything that happened before you were told they were all pagans and evils. So literally, all this majestic and excellent architect and everything, all the knowledge that your ancestors knew before the advent of Christianity, it was all demonized and paganized. And you started to believe in a religion, a foreign religion, that you've got absolutely no idea what it is all about. I'm going to tell you another fact as well that's going to shock you today, ladies and gentlemen. All my Zimbabwean people, like I say, this video is specifically for you, my Zimbabwean people. You are being hoodwinked, you are being bamboozled, and you are being kept in the dark through ignorance. If you go today to Israel, a country called Israel, the country that gave you your Jesus, your Moses, your religion and all that, your Old Testament and your New Testament, the Jewish, the Hebrew people, if you go to Israel right now today, and you know what you're going to see? There is about Israel has got a population of 9 million people, roughly estimated 9 million people. That's the population of Israel. And you know something that you're going to find? Of the 9 million people in Israel, only 2% are actually Christians. If you go to Israel right now, Israel has got a population of 9 million people, and only 2% of that 9 million people is Christian. Let that sink in for a minute. If you go to Israel today, you Zimbabwean people, my fellow Zimbabweans, you go to Zimbabwe to Israel today, and what you're going to find out is in Israel, there's a population of 9 million people, and of all the 9 million people, only 2% are Christians. 2%, I'm not very good in maths, but I'm talking 2% of 9 million. We're talking about maybe, I don't know, 200, almost about 200,000 people or something like that, right? 200,000 people of 9 million. A population of 9 million. If there's any mathematicians, you do the maths over there, but we are talking about a tiny fraction of Israelites or Hebrew people or Jewish people who actually believe in the doctrine of Jesus. Most Israel or Jewish people don't even believe in Jesus. They don't even believe he was the Son of God, or let alone him being God. They don't even have the same Bible as you have. You've got the Old Testament, the New Testament. They've got their own Tanakh. They have got their own Torah. They've got their own Hebrew or Israeli Bible that is totally different from the Bible that you guys in Africa, in Zimbabwe, following. They don't even believe in the New Testament. So why are you, ladies and gentlemen, Christianity in Zimbabwe is the culprit that is making us docile, stagnant, incapable of thinking rationally. Instead of using our logic and reasoning, we are using belief. And when you're using belief, you're incapable of confronting a situation the way you are supposed to be confronting it and dealing with it. Because you are thinking some mythical deity called Jesus or God is going to come and